This is a major moment in France, and of course it means a lot to so many people. It will have such an effect going on and out beyond what is happening within the courtroom here in Paris. Let's bring in for more comment Nafees Hamid, a cognitive scientist, for a wider thought on what this means. Thank you so very much for joining us, Nafees Hamid. We appreciate your time. This trial has to take place, clearly. What are the wider effects of this trial, do you think?
It's hard to say. I mean, the extremist groups like ISIS or like Al-Qaeda will take advantage of it. They will take advantage specifically of the Charlie Hebdo magazine reprinting the cartoons of Prophet Muhammad. But of course, that doesn't mean that necessarily those magazines need to be cowed by that reaction. Extremist groups will always try to find a way to take what's happening and play it to their advantage. They'll call these people who are standing on trial as heroes. I mean, those especially who say that they support what happened. They'll call those people traitors who say that they denied it and that they didn't know what they were doing. And they'll play into the narrative of the infidel insulting the prophet in Islam. So we'll have to see what happens. But one thing that should give everyone some sense of hope, I guess, is the fact that at this moment, right now in 2020, ISIS is not where it was in 2015. And even Al-Qaeda is playing more of a local game at the current moment. And so their ability to take advantage of these kinds of media events is much more limited because there's not really a place for foreign fighters to go. And at this particular moment, it's going to be hard for groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda to be able to claim they are the vanguard anti-establishment movement of our times. There's competing movements all over the political spectrum at this moment.
With the President Emmanuel Macron declaring that the right to blaspheme is something to be preserved here in France, which he said in reaction to Charlie Hebdo decided to republish the controversial cartoons that the Kouachi brothers used to justify their attack on the editorial offices back in 2015. Is this fanning the flames, or is this actually making a very bold and clear statement about what France is about?
Well, I mean, it depends on the audience. I mean, for some people, it is fanning the flames, and for other people, it is making a bold statement. Anytime you engage in any sort of counterterrorism or counter-radicalization policy, there's pluses and minuses. You have to weigh the costs and benefits. Again, if we were having this conversation 5 years ago when the caliphate was sort of at its zenith, I would say we have to be very careful about the kind of language that we push at this kind of moment, simply because of the inroads that those extremist groups had into places like France, the sleeper cells they had, their external operations organization, which was up and running, the fact that they had this caliphate, that there were easy ways to access it through Turkey. That's not the case. So if there ever was a time to make bold statements, I guess you could say this is the time.
Nafees Hamid, for now, thank you so very much indeed for your analysis and for joining us here on France 24. Thank you.